Well, I made some cock beading today to fit into all of these grooves that have to be mitered. So what I did was I took a piece of a 2.5-inch piece of mahogany, which was about 3 feet long, and milled it to 5/8 of an inch thick, which is what the depth of the cock beading needs to be. And then I ran it through the same beading bit that I used here and put the bead or round over on the edge, and then I ripped off 3/16 inch of a piece and then ran it through the beading bit again and ripped off 3/16, etc., etc. So I've got 5 pieces here. Hopefully that's enough for mistakes, and the only long piece I need is here, where we've got about 33 inches on the inside, but the rest are all relatively short pieces. This one here, we have to make a little point to have the cock beading come up into this piece here with a little arrowhead. Mm-hmm. So I'm cutting the cock beading now and putting the miter on the end of it. So, you know, I've got my block here and a little small Japanese detail saw. So there's the 45. So I got a 45 on both edges now, and now I have to cut away all but 1/8 of an inch. Just the round part remains. So I'll cut across here and cut a slice down there, so it leaves 2 little nubs on the end. So with my marking knife, I made a line right there, which is the 1/8 inches, and this detail saw fits right in the groove in the knife line and follows it down. And there's my 1/8 inch, and then I got to cut it off here. Hope we can see that on the. Yeah, you can. And that's it. That's all that you need to miter. When it's done, it looks like this. This is the one on the other side. So there's 2 small, and then you slip this in and then scribe a line and cut the bead off of the part on the chest. So I've got the 2 little miters on the end of each of these, and then it should slip into this groove and just fit, which it does. And so it leaves the miter up against the cock bead. Then I could scribe this with a knife. I use the X-Acto because it's a little thinner, and these are really small. I don't particularly want to break them off. And I'm marking it and cutting it at the same time. And then we'll take it out. And there's where the line is. And I do that with the measure. Let's make that out. Could be a little tighter, huh? I'll have to fill that slightly there, but it's not bad. Well, I've got all the cock beading glued on now, and it came out pretty well. And so I've got it all cleaned up, sanded to 150. Most of the whole bureau at this point is sanded to 150, and we'll get it to 180 before we start the finishing. So the next step that I selected was to work on the molding, which goes on clear around the base here. And this is a sample piece that I made out of maple, soft maple, and it fits. I have to make 2 of these. Fits right there, like so. So you have an OG on the top here, and then a fillet, and then a 1/2 inch flat piece. It looks like 3 pieces or 2, but it's really all one piece. I decided to make it out of one piece. And you know, again, I used a couple of routing bits here to rough out the majority of the material, and then you have to carve it in there to get it to a more crisp corner. So now I started working on the straight molding. We'll go back to this corner like so, and then this one back there goes in. It's because the door is set back. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Well, I made the molding, and here's a piece of it on the mahogany. You can see that it's 1 3/8 inches this way and 15/16 of an inch that way. So you got an OG and then a fillet on the front. So we're all set to nail it up onto and glue it to the chest. So as you can see, I've applied the molding to the bottom of the bureau here, and we've got some glue in about 6 inches on the sides, because you don't want to trap the sides by it, and then nails in the back. This is glued on in the front with some nails, and this is glued on in here, and this is glued on inside there. There's another piece that I added in here for where the door will rest on that, and it follows that curve inside there. And of course we've got the same thing over here and a piece on the side. So I use my pin nailer to hold things in place while it's being glued up. So we'll see how it goes. They're pretty good joints. We'll see how well they clean up tomorrow after the glue dries.